Mr. President, men and women of the Senate, today I rise to speak about National Eating Disorders Awareness Week, which takes place from February 27th through March 5th of this year. As I stand here, I'm thinking of one of my friends who struggled with an eating disorder when he was a junior and senior in high school. The onset of the illness was subtle and slow. He began to restrict what he ate, cutting out foods that he previously enjoyed, and obsessing over calorie counts. He strictly controlled his portion sizes and servings, no matter the meal or the time of day. Eventually, he stopped eating with his friends in the cafeteria. He lost the energy and will to even spend any time with them at all, not just at lunchtime. Over weeks, his elbows became sharp points and his knees hard knobs. This wasn't because he was a growing teenager, but because he was starving himself. After a few months, he couldn't sleep well. He was out of breath each time he climbed the stairs, sometimes having to pause once or twice before reaching the top. He couldn't ride his bike or hike or run like he used to. Going about his day, he could feel his heart beating harder than it should. His skin turned yellow. That's when his art teacher pulled him aside in the hallway and asked if everything was okay. Looking back, everything wasn't okay, but he didn't want to say that. He couldn't admit it to himself or to others, but she didn't give up on him. Fortunately, she went with him to his science teacher and his school nurse. Before long, he and his mom were sitting with the doctor and discussing something called anorexia nervosa. It took time and support, but he recovered, and he remains my friend, full of energy and life to this day. There are many eating disorders. Some are more well-known than others, such as anorexia nervosa, bulimia, binge eating, etc. They are complex medical and psychiatric illnesses that patients don't choose. Eating disorders have the second highest mortality rate of all mental health disorders, whether the patient dies for the complications from binge eating, purging, starvation, overexercise, or suicide. Nearly 30 million Americans experience an eating disorder at some point in their lives. Eating disorders can affect anyone, regardless of their gender, age, race, ethnicity, body type, body weight, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status. Eating disorders are unique in that, unlike other use disorders, the patient can't just abstain. You need to eat to live. And so they must learn to have a healthy relationship with food, which is very challenging. If you or a loved one might be struggling with an eating disorders, you can contact the National Eating Disorder Association helpline. You can either call or text. The number is 1-800-931-2237. Thank you, Mr. President.
It is now the pleasure of the Senate that this joint resolution be adopted and sent down for concurrence. Vote.